This is Dennis Swing with Guitar Lessons Ithaca. We're talking about something very specific today related to Mike Longo's Rhythmic Nature of Jazz DVD series. And it's specifically putting 5/4 into a 6/8 feel or 4/4 shuffle feel. Now, in the DVD of Volume 4, it says in DVD 3, you were taught to include a 5/4 pattern in your drum pattern so that you could play 6/8, 3/4, 4/4, and now 5/4, and returning to 6/8 without breaking the flow. So yes, he does demonstrate that, but it's not really like a step-by-step thing on how to do it. So this video may help anyone who may be struggling with that, because I believe you have to hear it, and then it's also beneficial to see it, and then of course the ultimate goal is to feel it. And we're going to do all three of those. First of all, what I'm talking about is like this.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And demonstrated on guitar over a 2-bar shuffle groove, it sounds like this. At the end of this video, I have a longer demonstration of my playing it, as well as a practice track for you to get it, hopefully get it in your blood. But first we're going to analyze it on paper. Now, this is the PDF that I made, and let me explain, because there is a method to the madness here. Okay, so first of all, you can represent all this from the perspective of 5/4 and write it out like that, which I did in my notebook, but I actually prefer writing it out in 4/4, which is the tempo on which all this is going to get based. Now, earlier I said 6/8, so you have all these time signatures floating around. But what I mean is, like, if you're talking about 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, then you could count 6/8 within that, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 bars of 6/8, or one big bar of 12/8. It's all sort of interchangeable, but I like 4/4 with triplets. So as you could see, there's 12 notes in each bar, so it's the equivalent of 12/8. And so what I've done in red here is mark, this is what the 5 against that would sound like. Like if I scat this, it goes 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. So that's what it sounds like. But let me just explain some of this notation. So look, the cycle of 5 is really 10/8 notes. So between here and here, like between that cycle and this cycle is 10/8 notes. And then between the second cycle and the third cycle, 10/8 notes, etc. So you can actually resolve to a beat of 4/4 after 3 cycles, because that's 38 notes. Think of it like this. I don't know if you're mathematically inclined, but you can just visually see it, even if you can't follow it. It resolves right here after 3 cycles of 5. And the reason it does that is because there's 38 notes, and each of these bars has 12 eighth notes. So after 2.5 bars, it resolves to a beat. However, I did it 6 times. I did 6 cycles of 5, and that's what these numbers mean. So I did like 1, da, 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 2, da, 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 etc. And then you'll see that there's 6, and then it ends because you're back at 1. So really, it takes only 3 cycles to resolve to a beat, but 6 cycles to resolve back to the 1 beat. And it actually takes 5 bars. So over here I wrote, the objective is to play 6 groups of 10/8 notes, grouped as 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2, which is the da, 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 which is the one that Longo suggests, over 5 bars of 4/4 swing. Okay? That's what that all means. I also circled, in order to, if you're having trouble feeling it and hearing it, like I said, seeing it can help. Like there's what do you call them, like guideposts, like which beats, which accents line up with the 4. Not only we saw this one, and of course the 1 lines up, but all these other ones that are circled as well. So when you're getting used to it, it helps to notice, like, the first 3 things should all line up, like 1, 2, 3, 4, on, off, and it starts getting off until you get to this one, etc. So that can all help. And these are just some notes, observations that I made. So I just covered this one, that the circles align with the beats in 4/4. Now, here's another important one. The cycle of accents goes on, after, and then before, and then on again. Now remember, it's a three cycle pattern, 3 cycles of 5 to resolve back on the beat, right? This first cycle, which I've marked 1, starts right on the beat. And 3 cycles later, at number 4, it's also on the beat. This cycle, let's call it number 2, starts right after a beat. Like this would be the 4 and right? So it starts on the end, right? So I'm just calling that after. And then this cycle, this next cycle, the 3, starts right before the next beat, or the It starts on the of, in this case, 3. So I'll put 3 and So I could have described it as, one's on the beat, and the other one's on the end, and the other one's on the. But I like on, after, and before. So you can, if you're tapping your foot, you can feel it in relation to that. So right here, I wrote the cycle is on, after, before, and then on again. However, you can start on any part of the cycle. Like we didn't have to start on the beat here. We could have started, like if I had started just after the beat, like if I put this, if we put a rest here, right? And then transfer all this over to the 1 beat, which I demonstrate in a little while. If you're getting confused, you'll hear this all, and I provide backing tracks so you can practice this. You can start on the, let's call it the after, and then if you practice that it would go after, then before, then on, and then of course after again, if that makes any sense. And if you're mathematically inclined, or if you're following this, it can really help. Or maybe you want to watch it again. It's hard to explain on first blush. So that's what this means. You can start on any cycle of the bar. Another thing, if you really want to dig into this, is you can subdivide any part of the 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2, which is the cycle of 10/8 notes, or not. So if we subdivided, let's say, my example is, if we subdivide the first 3 and the first 2, it'll be like ducky da ducky da ducky da ducky da. I use conical, so I'm sorry if I'm confusing you even further. I'm just trying to help here. I use takita for 3, takita, and then I use well, this second one, we're only going to say the first part. We're not subdividing it. So this capital T means that's where the first hit of the grouping is. So this is the first of the 3 groupings. That's why it's capital. And this means the same amount of time, but you're only striking the first beat, not the other 2. And then this is taka, and then this is ta. So notice that this is, if you count the syllables here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this dash means 5, this dash means 6, this dash means 7, this dash means 8, this dash means 9, and this one means 10. So in the end, like if you set your metronome to 5, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ducky da ducky da ducky da ducky da. So I'm simply suggesting that, as if you want to dig deeper into this, you can practice not only moving the cycles, like starting on different parts, whether you're starting on or before or after, but you can do it with different subdivisions. Like I'm just going to demonstrate the on one. Instead of like da 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 da, you can go like ducky da 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 da. I'm sorry, wait, hang on. So it would be ducky da 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 ducky da 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 da, like that, and take that through the whole cycle and play those and make up your own combinations of 4. Of 5, that is. So this would sound like 1 and 2 and 4 and 5, 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. So you can make up any combinations, but preferably those that match the way the groupings are. Like your groupings are 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2. You can make up any combinations in 5, but if you want to fit it into this 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2, then you would respect these tas, and those would never change, if that makes any sense. So one more thing before I get on with the demonstration on guitar and also the practice file that I made for you at the end. It can also be helpful to practice this while walking. You walk in 4/4, like 100 BPM is an easily walkable tempo, and then you can practice hearing the fives while you're walking, and then it can help you make sure you resolve, if your foot's going, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, then right here you'll resolve to it.
So we got 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Takira, takira, tagi, tagi, takira, 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 ta.
And if you want additional rhythmic inspiration, go to my course, which is called the Rhythm Generator, guitarlessonsithica.com/rhythm generator. I'll put it in the description, but it's a way of generating all kinds of great rhythms within 4/4. And if you're wanting something even more adventurous, you can go to playoddtimes.com, which is all about how to play in odd meters, which is easy enough to do without even having to do higher math, or you don't even have to read music to take this course.